Good morning. Hi cubies and newbies, I am Sunshine and this is the ABCube method. Excuse me 1 minute. Hi. Sorry about that. Paradoxically, that was my alarm telling me it's time to chat, time to Zoom, Twitch. I forget what I'm doing. Anyway, hi, good morning. This is hi Hubie. Let's just get started. Hi. It's Saturday, and I was going to work on the centers today, but I also have my GoCube charged and ready to go if anybody wants to challenge me. I am not fast, but I am around 1.5 minutes. My personal best is 1:21. So if anyone wants to challenge me, we can do that. I'm going to leave that there. So, it's a bright sunshiny morning. My head is fuzzy. I don't know why my head is not. I'm just excited to be here. I love being here with you all. Okay, so yesterday I did the bump cubes, both the colored one and the traditional. And okay, real quick overview. The ABCube is, with these two formulas, you can solve every size complexity of Rubik's cubes. It doesn't work on shapeshifters as well, or square one or things like that, but if it's an n by n by n cube, this will solve it. It undoes parities as opposed to having to memorize a parity algorithm, and it is done by looking at the face of the cube as if it were columns and rows of a spreadsheet. And the arrows represent the one slice you turn, and the black line represents the rest of the cube, because you're only using one row at a time and either one or two columns at a time, depending if it's formula A or formula B. Formula A is used to bring the corners to the top. I will demonstrate. Well, what do you know? The only 3x3 I have. Oh, here's the 3x3. I will demonstrate okay. So formula A is going to bring a chosen cube to the top face, and if it's on the top face, it's going to twist it around. So, for example, I move this piece. A will work on these two pieces. So I start by moving this piece out of the way. I move the space down. I move the cube into the space and lift them up again, and that moved the space to here. Did a bunch of other stuff. But if I do it again, it moves the cube back and twists it. I can, as long as I don't change the cube, I can keep going. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. And a multiple of 6 will resolve and resolve the bottom. So you noticed I did a quarter turn in the middle of that on the top to show what it does. So it does twist a corner cube. It will always it'll either twist a corner cube till it's back in the right position, or it can twist two cubes so that one is clockwise, one is counterclockwise, or it can twist 3 cubes Okay, 3 cubes so that they are each either going the same direction, either all clockwise or all counterclockwise. So it can be used for the first 4 corners, or it can be used for the last 4 corners. In this case, I need to twist them back again, so I will just put a cube that's incorrect in the space, do formula A, until the cube, until my chosen color is on the top. Sorry. Twist the top to move it out of the way and protect it, and keep going with more Formula A. Twist the top to keep it safe and keep going. More Formula A. Just using the bottom and the right. Okay, set the top. Formula A also works on the absolute center. Is, for example, if I want this green piece to move up to here, I will move the piece out of the way, move the space down, move the piece into the space, and the piece in the space back up again. And that is a good way to get or resolve boxes on all 6 sides, or all 4 sides. If I do this again, if I put this white up here, 1, out, down, in, up, this is now boxes on 4 sides with 2 sides solved. And that's what that looks something like, just to demonstrate. Okay, that looks something like, oh, reds, sorry, the reds are the ones that are correct. Okay, so if 2 sides are correct, then the boxes on 4 will need to be, the centers will be opposites. If it's on 6s, the centers are adjacent. If the cube is assembled correctly and the edges are correct, the centers have to be either opposites or adjacent, because that is 1, 2 slices from correct. And even number, if I assembled the cube in this position, that it was 1/4 turn off, this one will result in a parity, because but if I do it 2 turns, that will not result in a parity. Odd number of turns, parity. Even number of turns, no parity. Okay, so that was Formula A. Let me reset this. Out, down, in, up. Okay, and now I have parity. Oopsie, sorry about the camera. Okay, so red and green, green and white. So these are the 3 colors that are common. So I can move this cube up to here, and it will resolve. So I move this piece away, I move the space down, I move the piece into the space, and the piece in the space back up again. Formula A. So Formula A brings something to the top. If you're working with the corners or the absolute center. If you do Formula A on a larger cube, you can only, after you do the corners and the center, if you're working on the centers, you can only do it for the first face, because it will bring your color to the top just fine, but it will alter all the other faces as well. So if you're speed solving on a large cube, you can only use Formula A for the first face, not for all of the faces. For everything else, you need to go to Formula B. Formula B does everything else. Seriously, if you apply Formula B uses the top row and 2 columns. If you use the outside columns, it will work on the corners. If you use an outside and an inside column, it will work on the edges. And if you use 2 inside columns, it will work on the centers. And it always moves 3 pieces around. And there will always be 3 pieces around. If it ever looks like there's just 2 pieces that need to be placed, that is a parity. You make a 1/4 turn and solve again, and your parity disappears. Alrighty, and Do I have any questions, or should I just start playing? Also, guys, in case you just joined me, I am Sunshine. This is the ABCube method, and I have my Go Cube charged and ready if anyone wants to challenge me. I am not fast. My personal best has been at 21. My average is about my average is about a minute and a half, and that's as fast as I go. My fingers are. When I learned the cube, there were no such thing as finger tricks because the cubes were all clunky because they were made by Rubik's. So, I will set that here. Sorry, my icky sticky that I used to do. All right, then I am going to go into solving my centers today. ABCube method works from the outside in. The corners first because every cube has corners, and so you can start them all the exact same way. When the corners are done, the 2x2 is solved. But the rest of them, the corners have then dictated for you what sides that face will be, and tells you where to place your edges. I do not pair up my edges first. I do not do my centers first. I do not pair up my edges and then place them, because that seems to me to be 2 steps when I can just place them where they go as I see them. That means that saves me the time of having to look for 2 that match and pairing them up. So I do the corners, and then with yellow and white left and right, I just throw the yellow and white edges in the direction they belong until they're solved. And then I displace the orange, then I'll displace a yellow, one at a time to work on the side edges, and the yellow will find its way back to the top. Then either a parity exists or it does not. If it does, I do a quarter turn, solve again, and we're done. And that's where we are right here. So with that previously on, I will now start working on my centers. There are 2 types of centers. Actually, there are 3, but I have narrowed it down to 2. There are the diagonal centers, which dictate which direction of the top row of Formula B will be, and there are everything else I call floating center. I don't know what these are called, but on a larger cube, I was told they're called oblique centers, but I just call them diagonals and then floating. So the reason why it's a diagonal is, for example, if I want to move this yellow piece up to the top, my first top arrow will be to line this piece up with a piece that's advantageous to come down. So my choices are green or orange. I don't want to bring the green down to the blue because it's opposite, so I'm going to displace the orange. So I go my first, where the piece is my first up, and then I have to move this piece. Oh, let me mark it. This is the piece that I'm working on. Then I have to move the top so that this piece is in a different column. If I go this way, it's in the same column, that's not going to work. So I have to turn it this way to be in a second column, and then that is my second up. I reverse first down, reverse second down, set the top, and that cube is placed. That's diagonal. A floater, such as this, okay, we've got a yellow that wants to move up. First I line it up so that, let's see, it's going to land here. So a white or a blue will both be advantageous, but white is more advantageous. So it's lined up, I go up. Now my top move is to put this in a different column. That puts it in a different column, and so does that one. So it really doesn't matter which direction I go. So I'm going to follow the B pattern. Up, down, and down. But the fact that it doesn't matter which way you go, if I go one direction, it'll switch these 3. If I go another direction, it'll switch these 3. So if you want to start making patterns on your cubes, rainbows, checker, whatever have you. If you want to start making patterns and pictures, then that determines which direction you want to go to move that piece. But otherwise, the floating centers can go in either direction. The diagonal centers, you have to pay attention to which way you use them, and you have to use the blue arrow from B as a suggestion, not a rule. So, do we have any questions? I'd love to talk to you guys. Chatting is fun for me. No? Okay, no questions. All right, then I like to do white first, and I'm going to give an example of using the formula A for my first row, first space. So I bring them down in rows at a time, columns at a time. So that's down. Now I'm going to rotate to see whether there's any whites that show up. There's one, there's two. Okay, so I've just placed those whites, put that back up, and I have not messed up my edges. So here's a white. To bring this down, rotate, there's 1, 2, 3, no other whites. So I'll put it back up again. I can, my other white's here on the bottom. So this white will come here, so I'm going to line that up, and I'm adapting my formula B to bring it all the way up to where it goes. There's 1, side 2, reverse, down, reverse, down. Okay, so I used formula A for one side. Everything else from here on out will be formula B. Here is a red. Okay, I want to move this orange up. It's going to land in this space. So I rotate the top to line up a cube to come down. And then I do formula B. So that was my blue top. Then I go first up, rotate to a different column, second up, reverse, down, and reverse and down. And in working with the centers, because I have my cage, the edges will keep track of me for which column I'm on. So if I'm working on, say, a 10 by 10, and I forget which column, I don't have to count. Okay, it's the 7th column over. I just have to the piece that I'm working on and the piece that I want it to be. Okay, so here's a red. It's on the front. Once I hold the cube so that the red goes on top, I can bring down, it's going to land here. I can bring down either a green, a blue, or an orange. Orange and green will both be advantageous, but green is better. So that was my top to line up. And then we go first up, different column, that's my move. Second up, and then reverse what I did, and down. Okay, here is a red that wants to go up. I can either bring down the orange or the blue. Blue's more advantageous. So they are lined up, slide, second up, reverse, down, slide, down, set the top and continue. Okay, this wants to go to the other side, so it's going to have to be done twice regardless of how I do. So I will move it. Yellow is always a good one, a dummy piece to move, a good piece to move, because I've done white and I'm going to do yellow last. So, but it doesn't matter. And you can pick any cube and just find the direction it wants to be and place that cube. Lather, rinse, repeat till you're done. I like to do in a specific pattern, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to move this piece up, down, the column is back down again, set the top, follow through. It's going to go here, up, down, set the top, and keep doing. Okay, these two will switch. Up, slide, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Okay, switch these ones. Set the top. Set the top. Line up. Up, up, down, down. Done. Okay. Now, on large cubes, for newbies, I work on from the outside in, and I work on only one. Work on the spaces to go in, so because it's easier not to get distracted. But for cubies, I'll just look at, move up what wants to move up, and move down what wants to be down, and then go to different sides and keep repeating. So there's less regrips to deal with. Also, I work with the biggest pieces that I can. So here's two blues. Keep them as one so I can move them that way. So that will either move these two, which is sort of advantageous, but it displaces that one, so that's a wash. This one is not advantageous, but this is more advantageous because I'm getting an opposite out. So I'm going to treat these as one piece. So I go up, slide to a different column, second up, repeat these two down, and down. Up, up, down, down. Okay, here's two yellows. Let me see if I can treat them as two yellows. Okay. All right, so I can either displace a yellow and a white, orange and red, blue and white, or green and blue. So the most advantageous is this one, because I don't want to bring the blue down. So I treat this as one piece. I go up, different column, second up, reverse, and again my edges or colors remind me of where I am. Reverse, down. Okay. Here's two greens. Nothing advantageous going to the yellow because I don't want to. All right. Nothing really advantageous to the yellow, but there is here. Okay, so I'm treating this as one piece. I go up, turn to slide up, reverse, down, slide down, set the top, and we move on. Here's two greens. There's a blue and a yellow. So up, up, down, down, da-da, da-da, da-da. Here's two whites together. This is advantageous because I'm moving correct one down and getting rid of an opposite. So up, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down. So that you'll notice that the top row for the B, every other move is a left or a right. I mean, every other move reverses what the previous one was. So it's a mathematical zero. Formula B only moves the three pieces you're trying to move. And you know that two of them are advantageous because one is incorrect or you wouldn't have picked it, and two, the space it's going into is incorrect or it wouldn't be there. So the third piece that moves, the cube works that out on its own. You don't have to worry about it. Sometimes it's the same color, so it only looks like two cubes moves, but it's always three cubes moving. So here's an orange. I can bring down the red or the white. Both are advantageous. White is more so. So I've lined it up. I go up. Didn't mark it. I'm going to mark it so you guys can follow. where my eyes are tracking. Rotate to the second column, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down, and there is the cube. Okay? Here's a green. I can bring down a red or a red, so red it is. You can have any color you want as long as it's black. We go up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Set the top and keep going. Here's two reds. Look at that. Okay, red goes on top. Two reds are going on top. I can displace either two blues or yellow and green. Doesn't really matter. We'll do this one. Up, slide, second up, reverse, and again my edges are there to keep me honest. There. Alright. There's two greens still, but those can't move. I can't take advantage of that. So here's two blues. I can't take advantage of that either. Okay, so one at a time it is. All right, so working with just the corner then. Doesn't matter which one I do, so I will do up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. And again, when I'm judging whether or not it's worth moving, I'm looking to move the correct colors into place and the opposite colors out of place. So here's a blue and a red. So I line it up. That's my top blue arrow. Line it up, go up. Doesn't matter which direction I go. So up, reverse, down, reverse, down, done. Okay. Here's a white. There's no really reds to go down. All right, here's a white. I'm going to bring the yellow down. Okay, so up, up, down. Ooh, betrayal. Don't do that, sunshine. Down. Okay. It's a yellow. Put yellow on top. Bring the white down because it is an opposite. Up. Slide up. Reverse. And again, my edges keep me honest. Down and down. Okay. Here's two yellow. And I can line them up there. So up, up, down, down. And that's done. Here's a blue. Okay, I can bring orange or yellow down. I don't want to bring the orange, so yellow it is. Up, slide, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. Okay, and there's a white. Okay, line up something. Up, slide, up, reverse, down, slide, down. Set the top. Keep going. Oh, there's two greens. It's only advantageous to use one of them at a time. So up, up, down, down, set the top. Okay, this green moving up will bring me an opposite, which I don't want, so let's work with that going in the other direction until you get to where you, for as long as you can, for as long as it's convenient. Okay, so this will bring down a red, yellow, or white, so we'll bring in the opposite down. So we go up, slide up, reverse, down, reverse, down. set the top, and keep going. Here's a red. Okay, let's see. Are my corners done? Because I like doing those first. Here's a blue. Line it up with an incorrect piece. We go up, slide to a different column, up, reverse, down, reverse, down. So the top. Okay. Only one corner to work with, which is advantageous. So we go up, up, down, down. Set the top. Here's a red. Line it up, 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 down, down. Okay. All right. Here's a white. Needs to go in any direction, but there's a yellow, so we'll bring that yellow up. Up, slide up, reverse, down, slide down, set the top, continue. Okay. All right. So here's an example. When I decide which way to turn the top for my second, I can either depend on whether I want to move this piece here or this piece here, because if I go in one, if I go in this direction, it'll move this piece. If I go in this direction, it'll move this piece. So let's up, go this way, up, down, down, and you can see that it did indeed move this piece. And this piece went down to there. All right, again with the white, line up the top, up, gonna go the other direction so you can see that that green stays where it is. Up, down, down, set the top, and this time I moved this orange piece one to here. Okay, so move the blue up to the orange, line it up, up, slide second up, reverse down, slide second down, set the top. Here's a green. You're going to bring the orange down, up, slide second up, reverse down, back, down. Set the top, keep going, pick a piece that's wrong, put its color on top, and line it up, and here we go. Up, up, down, down, and we're done. Yay, happy dance. Okay. All right. Does anyone, I'm going, on Saturdays I usually scramble my cubes for the following week. But again, I do have my GoCube here. If anyone has a GoCube ready and charged and wants to play with me, we can battle. So, other than that, I'm just going to go ahead and start to scramble my cubes. Unless anybody wants to chat with me, say hi, happy weekend. Hope everybody's having a fun day. Okay, I don't have specific scrambles. I just kind of do things and then just toss it and don't look and keep going. Okay, we're gonna call that. See, that scrambling is the hardest thing. That's why when people make a mistake and I say that's okay, because you just gave your scrambling is good, because you notice I've been scrambling and these two lined up again together. When you're starting with a cube, you don't want to scramble because, oh, I worked so hard to get to where I was. But when you're more advanced, you start realizing that scrambling is hard because you keep lining things up that you're trying to scramble. So whenever you make a mistake, just remember that's just practice. That's just practice for a good scramble. Okay, there. To my 3x3. Scramble, 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 scramble. Okay. So there's a 2 by 2, a 3 by 3. Where's my 4? Here's my 4. Oopsie. Oh, and it occurs to me, I'm going to show you this, you guys. If you ever want to just practice on just your centers, you're like, I want to practice my centers, but I don't want to scramble the cube and have to do my corners and edges again because I've got those down. Then anytime you have, any cube you have, do I have a bigger one? Sure. Any cube you have, if you keep your corners correct to each other, then when you're scrambling, you will not mess up your edges, which means you can practice with just your centers. Let me show you. So as long as whatever I do keeps my corners correct, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that my corners are still correct to each other, up and forward and back, and there, my corners are still correct to each other. This way, my corners are still correct to each other. As long as your corners are still correct to each other when you turn it, 3, 4, 1, 2, whatever you do does not matter as long as you keep your corners correct to each other. Okay, so I'd scrambled, I kept my corners correct. Now all I have to do is just line the edges back. Line the edges back. Line the edges back, and sometimes your center will be in box formation, but your corners and your edges will still be solved as long as you've kept your corners correct. So that's something fun to know. Also, fun fact, if you're taking apart a big cube like this, and when you put it back together again, we've been taught, we old timers have been taught that when you take a cube apart and you put it back together again, you have to put it back together again in a correct position, or else there's a 1 in X chance that you might not be able to solve it, or more likely a 1 in X chance that you can, because it's more likely than not that you're not going to be able to. But when you deal with, and that is because on this cube, every single piece has a single space that is correct to each other. But here, since this green diagonal center can go either here correctly, either here or here or here or here, and since every floating piece, every piece can be correct in one of 4 places when you're assembling it, because of the mathematics of the cube, you can always solve it. So when you take the cube apart, yes, and you're reassembling it, yes, you've got to get your corners correct, yes, you've got to get your absolute center correct, yes, you've got to get your edges correct, but as far as the centerpieces, you do not have to sort them by color. All you have to do is sort them by shape and put them in wherever they fit, and then you can solve the cube. So you just saved yourself a lot of time because you don't have to sort them by color. So, fun fact. All right, so there's my 2 by 2, my 3 by 3, my 4 by 4. That 5 by 5 is ready for edges. Scramble on 5 by 5. Scramble, scramble, scramble. Scramble, 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 scramble. Hi Doug, how are you today? It is good to see you. It is good to chat with somebody. Hey Doug, were you the one that has the GoCube? Because I have my GoCube charged and ready, if anyone should want to challenge me. Ooh, oh how fun. Doug just unboxed a new 11 by. Oh, you have again Smart cube, not a Go cube. Those don't talk to each other. Oh, I'm gonna go get. Shall I go get my 11 and show you mine? Okay, I'll be right back. And we're back. All right, move these out of the way, make space here. Okay. I do have an 11 by. I did not buy it new. I bought it with a package, a lot. You know what? It's too big. Let me just hold it right here. I bought it with a lot, a packet. I was on Mercari, and there was a lot of your Rubik's cubes, and this was one of them. Someone has tried to re-sticker it, and a couple of the pieces don't have stickers. Like my red here doesn't have a sticker. This is a different color red than the rest. My greens are two different colors of greens. My oranges are two different colors of oranges. I could I could buy a new set of stickers, scrape them all off, and make it look pristine. But in the meantime, it has character. I like it. I've scrambled it once and solved it once, and that's enough. It is pillowed, which is not my favorite. But here is my 10 by instead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 10 by. So much for large cube. Is more convenient. Yes. So here's my 10 by, and it's flat, which means as I'm scrambling, I can tap it on the table to line it up, because it can get because it has to be lined up to turn with large cubes, or else you buckle. And this one, it's stickered too, but it's so nice and pretty. And truth be told, I like even cubes more than odd timber cubes, because I can pretend that it's harder because I don't have my center to work around. But when you're dealing with a cube like this, and the center is blinds into the rest of it anyway. So on a cube this big, I would definitely work my way outward in if I were teaching. But if I were, so there's my 10 by. It's been a while since I've scrambled it. There's my 11 by, and it has character. Plus, because it's pillowed, it can be a top. I'm so easily amused. Okay. Yeah, so much for large cubes. There we go. So there's my large cube. I have one larger I had one larger in size. It was I bought it for my grandbaby. It is about yay big, and it is a Rubik's 2x2 plushie. So it just joined all eight cubes are joined, corners are joined in the middle with a rubber band. And so it does turn like a 2x2 and can be solved like a 2x2. Sadly, it's also easy to flip a corner and you can just reassemble it. Yeah, okay. It's a common strategy to work from the outside in. Yeah. Okay, so that's my novelty item for today. Thank you, Doug. Is my 11 by and my 10 by. Move them out of the way. All right. So there's my edges. I'm just scrambling my cubes for the upcoming week. right now. Which you guys are the only reasons I can do that, because if if I don't know it's scrambled for a reason and there's a definite time to that I'm going to solve it, my brain says, no, you can't leave a cube unsolved, must solve now. So 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm also going to scramble my 3 by 9. Corner turning cube. I will look that up and see what it looks like. Is it a shapeshifter? Is your Kiyi Super Ivy Cube, is it a shapeshifter, or is it just no shapeshifting, but the cubes just turn. Corners just turn. Corner turning hurts my brain. I'm like, don't turn corners. I was watching someone solve the cube. I was watching a kid looking for help, and he says, if I could just get it here, I can turn the corner here. And I'm like, oh, kid, don't turn corners. Ooh, mechanism has 8 arms instead of 6. That makes my brain hurt. Oh, okay. So instead of the arms going to the centers, my brain's working this out. Instead of the arms going to the centers, the arms go to the corners. So how would that turn? Wow. Okay, my brain's confused. All right, in scrambling the 3 by 3 by 9, it's not enough to just scramble it like this, because when I solve the white and yellow corners, these are just going to be one row away, and I'm just going to go flip it and it's going to be done. So in order to scramble the 9 by side, I have to actually solve it by shaping correctly. So yellow and white are on top. I have to make sure that, yes, and I'd probably like it, except because it turns very well. I do like cubes that turn very well and click into place. Ball bearings, no magnets. Ooh. Okay, so is it a 3 by 3 or is it larger? How big is it? I do love when they just click into place. Oh, it's a 3 by 3. Okay. All right. And how much does it cost? Okay, so I've lined up my centers here. I will look into it. I will look into it. Okay, so I'm solving this incorrectly. And my centers are lined up though. Sounds like fun. You don't by any chance have Twitch, do you? I could watch you solve it. Do you have a Twitch? Okay, not set up to stream. That's just fine. Do you have a YouTube? Okay, so I have solved the 3 by 3 by 9 by shape incorrectly, which means now when I twist the sides, then when I solve it correctly, the sides will be thoroughly scrambled and everything will be fun. So now I scramble it again. Oh, you post it to YouTube 20. I posted to my YouTube like 20 years ago. I think you got auto-corrected on that. Oh, you last posted to your YouTube 20 years ago. So you have YouTube, but you haven't used it in forever, and so you're not in the habit of doing that. Okay. All right. I read that incorrectly because I'm old. I forgot YouTube had been around for that long though. Okay, there's my cube scrambled for the coming week. And so if nobody wants to, okay, I will go look for the Super ABCube. I will see how it works. Yes, my brain is happy with that new puzzle. I do want to see how that works. Let me know, play with it a little bit and let me know how you like it when next time we talk. And have fun with your 11 by. You love it, it's really fun. You've already played with it. Okay, great, awesome. All right, that being the case, I am going to 10 other puzzles. I have some other puzzles. I have a plus cube. I've shown here before. I don't know if you've seen it. It boils down to being a 5x5 with missing pieces. So it looks like a 3x3, but there's another. It goes out another 3. Another row this way, another column this way, another column this way, another column this way. So that it's 5. This depth is 5, and this depth is 5, but this depth is 3. Height, width, depth. You can't have 3 depths. I'm confused. So it's a plus cube. The plus cube, I can solve it using just A and B. So even though it's not a typical 3x3, it's not a typical n by n by n, I can solve it just using A and B. So any cube that I can solve using just A and B, I like it because it shows how smart I am to have created A and B. I don't know how expensive they are because, again, actually that one was given to me as a gift, along with, I'm going to growl here. Are there any WCA puzzles you can't solve with A and B? Well, what WCA puzzles are there? The Gigaminx, the Megaminx, which one is which? The star one, the Megaminx one. The Scube, is the Scube a shapeshifter? Is that like square one? I don't like square one. Oh, the only shapeshifter. I cannot do square one. Cannot do square one with my being. I don't think I can do the Scube. But and the star one, the Minx ones, you can do it for everything. The first row, the first face and the last face, you cannot use my formula on, but you can just use intuition on that. But the clock, I'm sorry, I saw clock. I meant to. I'm getting distracted reading. The for the last layer, the first side for the Megaminx, you can just use an intuition. For the last side of the Megaminx, there are 2 algorithms I have to use to get the edges on the last side of the Megaminx. I have to do the front right up front, and the RU, and to get the edges lined up. But everything else I can do with my A and B, with my B. The clock, I have had a clock. I would have loved the clock in my younger years, but my fibromyalgia just did a reset on my brain, and so the math puzzles that I used to love, I cannot do anymore. So I got the clock to see if I liked it. and then promptly gave it to to someone who would love it. It's like, okay, you can have this one. I love that. I have a friend on the autism scale who I got turned onto the cube, and it took me. He's like, I don't want to learn that. I have no interest in it whatsoever. So I put the cube in his hand and I drew some arrows on a napkin, and he's like, oh, I understand this. He's of the mentality of if I don't know that I can do it, I don't want to do it. And so he instantly understood it, and so then he went and surpassed me and went into speed cubing and went into other things. And so anytime I have a cube that I can't figure out, I'm like, here you go. For you. Have fun. So, that's good. Oh, okay. This guy goes to 11. Yeah. Again, if anyone has a Go Cube, come play with me. So I can solve any n by n cube. I can solve with the A, B, and B. I can use anything that with this. It solves this one with the band, which is really just a banding. So I can solve some of them. If I haven't tried it, I don't know how to tell you whether I can solve it with A and B or not. But the Gigameeks I have tried, and with the exception of the last row last row edges, you can solve it with formula B. Formulas A and B. All right. Okay. If nobody has any questions, queries, comments, posers, denials, then I'm going to go about my day. I love. This is so much fun for me. I love being here with you guys. Whoopsie. People. Okay. All right. I will go check out the Super Ivy Cube. How much is the Super Ivy Cube, or should I just go check it out? Cubeast. Oh, okay. About $15. All right. I'll put it on my wish list then. I went to buy some cubes yesterday, and I discovered that we are in a new month, and my debit and credit cards have expired. So I have to go check the mail and get my new cards so before I can buy more stuff. You got it on sale. Okay. Yes. Thank you guys. Go have a wonderful weekend, and I will be back here Monday morning to solve and chat. All right, you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.